be downtown New Baltimore, where back in the day, Wayne, John, and I, we grew up in that town. We ruled the streets back then. 40 years later, we dominated the streets. And it really felt good to give back to the city that gave us so much growing up. Our offering that we had on apparel was incredible. We had stuff for dogs, we had stuff for elderly people, younger people. These people wanted merch. It looked like about a quarter-mile line. They were past the sidewalk, into the streets. We did this for over 6.5 hours. It never slowed down.
Me, Wayne, and Joe grew up 5 blocks down this way. So this was the stomping grounds as when we were kids. And now we get to shut down the streets and we're having a party like this in downtown New Baltimore, where we played, where we got in trouble, where we did all of our stuff. Little garage over here. I started working there when I was 11 years old.
Music.
We're raising money for Michigan Special Olympics. That's a dear charity of ours and dear to our heart. So we're having a silent auction inside the event tent. We're raising money for the St. Clair Fire Department too. You got games, you got toys, you got restaurants, you got VIP, you got cocktails and hors d'oeuvres, a place to play and a good time.
It's unbelievable all of this came from our hometown. It's just such a special day here for us. As a local dealer, this is just a dream come true to have our whole hometown just filled with our own product and, you know, Sunsations from every single model possible, paint colors, all sorts of people from the country. It just really has blown us away and we're just happy to be a part of it.
This is one of my favorite events. It's thrown and put together by a group of guys that build a fabulous product.
It's not so much of a boat show feel, more of like a family, everybody come down, look at what Sunsation's done, you know, over all the years.
We were able to have lunch over here at Naps, which was great. Fantastic, service was good. It's amazing how everyone here so far has just been really accommodating to this whole event.
I do not know of any other manufacturer-based event with 150 of their own boats at it. I'm gonna claim fame to that one. So if somebody else can prove us wrong, rock and roll, do it.
We got a helicopter that's coming in here, that'll be here at 10 o'clock. He's gonna run with us on the first leg of the race. First leg of the run. I like that one.
Back in the 90s, we used to call it Sunsation Saturday when we had these events. And John has always been the main guy on the microphone, or the bullhorn if you call it, doing the driver's meeting all the way through every event we ever had up until today.
15 minutes up here by the stage, captains only, please. We're gonna have a 10-minute driver's meeting. Thank you very much.
Everything is going perfectly. The only problem that I am having is that everybody keeps passing this other boat.
Boats are too fast.
Everybody has said to pick up the pace a little bit. I will pick up the pace a little bit.
Good morning, everybody. Well, I got a lot of stuff to get through. I know driver's meetings are semi-boring, but...
Safety is the #1 concern that we have with an event this large. We have a driver's meeting which explains all the details of what to do. The safety is huge.
Good time. Burn some fuel. Gonna be good at that.
Cabana Blue, man, this was like a nothing island years ago. It was like, you know, overgrown, and now it's like the hot spot. Everybody comes here. It's just, you know, a venue. Where else are you gonna do this? You know, so.
When we pulled up to Cabana Blue in the morning and tied up and started walking the docks, it actually blew my mind how many performance boats were there. both new customers, old customers, vintage boats, modern boats, was amazing to see. I don't know any other run that I've ever gone to where you see boats from the 80s in mass quantities with boats that had just left the factory.
To see all your boats, there probably had to be 125 boats there or so. You can't really describe it. The feeling is awesome, and to see everybody enjoying the product that we create. We don't just build boats, we build a lifestyle for our customers. One of the most exciting things for me is when we have ladies and gentlemen start your engines. And I know the outboards today don't really have the sound. When you fire up 50, 60 of them, over 35,000 horsepower starts at one time, there's nothing like it. It's the best thunder you could ever hear. The run this year was very well planned out. We left from Cabana Blue, we go across Anchor Bay, out into Lake St. Clair, we came back in through the Twin Towers.
Let's run with these guys right here, and then we'll loop back over and come back over.
Redlining, we turning up the heat. Get the crowd going, gonna make a scene. Buckle up, ready, set, 1, 2, 3. Born of a different breed. Next level, I'm in a whole new league. I'm making moves like you won't believe. I'm sorry, you can't compete. Watch out, better make room, room. Pedal to the floor like vroom, vroom. Sub in the back like boom, boom. Can't stop me, what you gonna do?
So you're coming up the South Channel at that point. It's very scenic in that area right there, because on your port side you have Harson's Island. On the starboard side you're bordering Canada all the way up.
Road less traveled, know that I paved it. Foot on the gas, we off to the races. No slow motion, this ain't the Matrix. I got the codes, we back to the basics. Underrated, can't understate it. Fade all the hate, cause it's unrelated. I'm motivated, I'm making changes. I see my future, I'm going places. Watch out, better make room, room. Pedal to the floor like vroom, vroom. Sub in the back like boom, boom. Can't stop me, what you gonna do? Gonna hear me going.
So we went all the way up the South Channel, and when we turned the corner in Algonac, we actually had another fireboat there spraying the water, which is awesome, to go around the fireboat and then down the North Channel.
You can try to keep up with me, yeah. Ain't nobody touching me. You know I came for the victory. We out here making history. Gonna hear me going.
Then we go back out to Lake St. Clair, across Lake St. Clair, and went to Hooks, which is formerly known as Old Brownies. Hooks was very nice. It's all remodeled. It's you're probably about 40 or 50 miles into the run at that point. It's a good time to stop for the people to get off their boat, tie up, have a cocktail if you're not a driver, and hors d'oeuvres, appetizers, and just relax. Hour and a half sitting there. And then from there, we take off and went towards Detroit. get there fairly quick because I'm actually going faster than the cars on the expressway, so it doesn't take long to get to Detroit when you come in by the water. You got Cobo Hall, the Renaissance Center, which is GM headquarters, and we just kind of drifted out in front of there and sat. From there, we left and went straight back across Lake St. Clair, up the middle channel, and went to Browns.
Browns was always the spot on the lake to go to. You know, you'd spend the day out in the bay and everybody would end up at Browns at night. And being that Browns is on the island, you know, you really can't get there by car easily, or most people don't. It's always just made it a really good boater destination. And it's been a hot spot for 30, 40 years. Browns probably started breaking up maybe around 6 or 7 o'clock. At that point, a lot of the people end up going back to Cabana Blue. They had some live music that night. Step inside, walk this way, you and me, babe. Knowing that that's a really big venue with a lot of parking, I think that was a good opportunity for some people just to get back and do something different.
And the people were there late into the evenings. I mean, they were enjoying it. I seen them dancing, having a good time. Kind of a time to cut loose, and if your boat's parked for the night, the drivers had a good time as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the first annual Sunsation.
You know, the goal was to try to get all the Sunsations tied up together. We didn't have, you know, it wasn't everybody that attended that went. We had a lot of out-of-town customers, I think, that had to head back home. Performance Boat Center had racing. It was the first time that I had saw a lot of our employees' boats. So I think we had maybe 5 or 6 boats tied up, and at one point I kind of questioned, you know, whose boats are those in the Sunsation lineup? And I found out they were all of our staff, which I thought was huge. I mean, there was guys that worked for the company that would grab 6 or 8 other employees and bring them out. So we had, I think, maybe not all of our staff in the bay, but we had a ton of staff on the bay that day, which made it a great way for all of us to kind of unwind from the busy week.
And by getting to know our employees and our employees being involved with the customers, you generate a lot of camaraderie between them, but over and above that, I think a lot of friendships are actually developed as well.
You know, when we had the line going, we were right in front of the Tiki barge, and we split the line to walk the 32 demo in with Maine and gave him just an absolute standing ovation of an entrance to the moot. To just thank him for what he did over the last 40 years that got us to this point. I know he doesn't love the spotlight, but he had to have loved that a little bit.
I don't think it could have gone better. Wayne got kind of thrown into a boat at one point. We drug him down the center with them kind of hot rodding the motor, revving it up. Ken Trefla, I think it was the original owner of that rocket. And him and Wayne got in there. We were pushing him down the canal with them, revving the motor. The boat's rocking back and forth. I thought, like, if you don't know Wayne, that is 100% him. Put the throttle down, make some noise, and just have a good time.
It kind of reminded me about the rallies they did in the 80s and 90s that I've heard about. They were wild, they were fun, they were a little, you know, rough around the edges, and I saw some elements of that at the moot on Saturday. But that's the place you do that.
threw them up on the tiki barge at one point. A lot of promotion was done for Sunsation, and it was, honestly, it was probably one of my highlights of that run.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have Mr. Wayne and celebrating.
Tiki Barge did a great job at kind of giving us the spotlight, giving Sunsations the front row for the whole event, and really just making sure that everyone who was in the moot that day knew why they were there for the recovery raft off. And looking back at the irony of calling it a recovery raft off when it was easily the day where everyone went the hardest. You go online and you can see people commenting on Facebook saying the Sunsation boys really tied one off that day. They're not wrong, we did. You know, you cater to the customers Thursday, you make sure everyone is safe and has a fun run on Friday, and then everybody's on their own and they cut loose for Saturday. So seeing Wayne get up there and DJ a little bit and give shout outs and pass around a few drinks, that's what it's about. I mean, this is really what we're doing at the end of the day in this industry. We don't get to do it very often, so it's fun to see everyone cut loose.
It was high energy, extremely high. Everybody was really excited. All the employees, they put a lot into this entire event. The prior 2 days, they were extremely busy. You're up from sun up to sundown, working on stuff, doing stuff or whatever. People have asked, are you going to do the event every year? Well, definitely we are. And I can tell you, this year, it was spectacular. But it's already going to be a better event next year than what we had this year.